Hello, welcome back. I have left India and I am now here in Singapore. It is my second time in the country and I'm just passing through for a few days on my way to somewhere else, which I will reveal later. Let me give you a quick tour of where I'm staying before we jump outside today. So, a little tour of my room here in Singapore, and from my bed, there is a view across the way of Sentosa Island and Vivo City Shopping Centre just nearby too. The metro station is in there. TV, you can drink the tap water here. Fridge, rain shower, and the moving door, which is a pretty interesting feature, with the toilet just there as well. So I actually filmed that room tour right when I arrived, when the weather was much better. Today, it is overcast and rainy, but I'm leaving tomorrow, and so we gotta go out and explore today. I'll just say that this bed, by the way, is probably the comfiest I've stayed on this trip so far. If you're interested, the link is in the video description. There is breakfast in the mornings with Western stuff, but also Asian food. There's a swimming pool as well. And if you go to the link below and book direct with them, there's a cool feature where you can stay for 3 nights, but pay for 2 if you do it on a MasterCard. So check that out. Okay, so I'm leaving the Travelodge now, and it is still raining. I've been waiting all morning to film. It's now 3 p.m. and it's still going, so let's just head out and go for it. As I said before, I'm staying right in front of Sentosa Island, which is just across the way. But first, I think while it's still raining and there might be a chance it could clear up, let's head somewhere nearby to one of Singapore's famous hawker centres, and hopefully the weather will turn a bit in an hour or 2. So something that you may be noticing already in just 1 or 2 clips that I've filmed is just how organized, tidy and clean Singapore is, and how convenient it is as well. So this being my second time here, I know what it's like here. But everything is thought through. Even this walkway by the side of the road here, I don't even need to use my umbrella because they have shelter running all the way to my hotel. You can see the buses here. Singapore has amazing public transport. The MRT system is extensive, driverless. Singapore is full of trees and greenery, which makes it feel like a very pleasant place to walk around. The traffic is not loud, and I could go on and on about how amazing Singapore is, how convenient it is. English is widely spoken, it's one of the national languages, and the food here is incredible. This is one of the MRT stations. Harbourfront is where I am. And then on top of that, you have the history of Singapore, its old trading port significance, and still today. But then you have the modern side. Universal Studios is just across the way on Sentosa Island. The Singapore Zoo, there's Gardens by the Bay and Marina, and then you have Chinatown, Little India. Huge parks and areas like the Botanical Gardens, and an unlimited number of things to do and see. Hawker centres and street food, fine dining or expensive food options as well. The best of every cuisine from Asia you'll find here, and then also from other parts of the world too. And so in a nutshell, the best way I could describe Singapore would just be impressive. It's very impressive, especially when you've traveled to a fair amount of places around the world, like myself over the last 5-6 years. You get here and it's just, they've thought of everything. They really have. It's obviously not perfect. Some people might say it lacks a bit of a soul, but I do not agree. As I said, there's a lot of history and character and things that make Singapore, Singapore. Whether it's steamed rice with chicken, the national dish, or the hawker centres, and the modernity that has given it more identity, such as Marina Bay Sands and the Singapore Sling and all these things. There's a cable car up here, but the hawker centre I want to get to is somewhere around here. And so Singapore is also incredibly diverse. You have Islam, Malays, Indonesians or Muslims from other countries, and then Christianity, Hinduism. There's many Indians that are here, and so you can find most religions and nationalities that then filter into the food. Chinese food, Indian food, Southeast Asian food, any type of Asian food. So let's take a look what's around. Kowloon wonton noodles. Kowloon, that should be Hong Kong. Yong Tau Fu, Chinese. Curry rice. This hawker centre has recently been renovated and only opened again very recently, which is why I wanted to check it out. Duck, sugarcane juice. The great thing about the hawker centres too is a great way to save money. Singapore is kind of notoriously expensive, but only in certain departments like hotels and accommodation. But the MRT metro system and food in hawker centres, very affordable, and you're going to see that when I show you the price once I decide what I want for lunch. Indian food, Al Siafiq, Islamic name, but that is Malay or Indonesian. Okay, so I found some food. I have kway teow goreng with ayam chicken. It is 7 Singapore dollars, and it's like the wet type of kway teow goreng. I've spent a lot of time in Malaysia, so I really love this type of food. Also, it's Indonesian as well. And then I also have to drink a brew coffee. The brew coffee here is just $1.30. Probably not the best idea to wear a white top today when I'm going about hawker centres. Probably never a good idea to wear a white top when you're eating. Here we go. Spicy. Kway teow is my favourite type of noodles. Very good. You will never run out of food to try in Singapore with all the different options available to you. So lunch down, and I have just passed across the road. I'm in front of Vivo City Shopping Centre, which is right by my hotel over there. The hawker centre was just there by the bus station, and where I'm staying in Singapore is right in the south here, just in front of Sentosa Island. I didn't visit Sentosa Island the first time I came to Singapore. I stayed in the centre and went to Chinatown and Little India, etc., and I included all that in my video. So I thought today, as I'm staying so close, let's take the Sentosa Express across to the island and take a look at it tonight. Perhaps we'll go to the centre and I'll show a little bit of downtown. So a quick mention that shopping malls are your friend here in Singapore. Why? They have AC, they have food courts, They are great places to go on a rainy day, which happens fairly frequently here with its tropical climate being so close to the equator, which is just south of here. We're just in the northern hemisphere. And Singapore as well is the perfect transit place. If you are traveling from Asia to Europe or from one part of Asia to another, to stop here for a few days to find something very comfortable, clean, organized, relaxing, and just somewhere to wind down and have a very comfortable experience, then Singapore absolutely is the place for that. And also, if it's your first trip to Asia, and if you want to ease in to Asia, perhaps Singapore would be a fantastic choice, as opposed to going straight into somewhere like Hanoi or Bangkok with a lot of intensity. So there we go, across the way there, using my umbrella again as a pointing stick. That is Sentosa Island, where I will be going. You can actually walk across, you can drive across, you can take the cable car across, but we're gonna take the Sentosa Express. So now on the top floor of Vivo City, and this is the entrance to the Sentosa Express. Using my Singapore Metro card.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
So I think with the Easy Link card, which is the MRT card, you can buy one for $5 Singapore on arrival from the airport or any MRT station. Well, I think using this, it's free to then jump on the Sentosa Express. So we are coming from Harbourfront here and then making our way down to the island. The plan is to get on the Skywalk and go to Fort Siloso here, if I can. I think the train is going to end up here somewhere, so let's see if I can get there. So I've arrived here on Sentosa Island at the last station, which is Beach Station. Here is the Central Beach Bazaar. It all feels a bit Disney World in a way. It's very much like a theme park, the way it's laid out, and the sound of the voices on the announcers and the music and the general vibe. It takes me back to my first ever holiday in America when I was 6 or 7, when I went to Disney World and Epcot and MGM and Universal Studios, SeaWorld. So I'm walking beside the road here, and there's cafes, there's beach resorts, there's bars, there's loads of different things here. Hotels. Wow, bungee jumping up ahead. I mean, look at the list here. 4D Adventureland, Fort Siloso and Skywalk, that's where I'm going. Then you have iFly, I don't know what that is, Madame Tussauds, Waxworks, beach clubs, Sky Helix, Skyline Luge, that's what I just showed. There's a huge golf course, 2 of them on the other side of the island. Nature Trail, Coastal Trail. Let's carry on. You can probably see the bungee jumping a bit more clearly here. Let's just take a quick glimpse at the beach just here. There are many different sections you can just make your way onto. Looks like a nice big 5-star hotel over there. Some people playing frisbee, palm trees. The only negative, huge ships in the backdrop, but you can't have everything. But the sand is just so clean, and the water doesn't look too bad, to be honest. That looks like the skywalk ahead. Okay, I just took the elevator to the top here, and wow, I am so impressed by the views. So across the way there is the mainland of Singapore. You can see the cable car, and then here we have Sentosa Island, the bungee jump in the distance, and then also the beach. This skywalk is very nice. I mean, you can hear the birds. You're up with the trees and the surrounding views. The modern buildings of Singapore. I can actually see some white, exotic looking birds in the trees there. Also a bright green one. My GoPro probably isn't showing it. So, what is Fort Siloso? It was a British-built fort that had a lot of action during World War II when the Japanese came to Singapore. And I'm going to find out a little bit more about it now.
Directing the fire of the guns. The enemy hasn't come by sea as we thought, so they're firing on the oil installations on Pulau Bukom to make sure the enemy doesn't get them. Observe fire. Hit! Hit on oil installation. Continue firing on present range and bearing.
So this here is a fantastic museum, and it tells you a lot about the Japanese invasion of Singapore during World War II, which happened in 1942, the Battle of Singapore, where it fell. And then it was under Japanese occupation, taken from the British for 3.5 years. And many people in the city perished. Many British troops, Malaysian troops, and Indian troops served as prisoners of war. Some of them had to go to the Thailand-Burma Death Railway to work on that. When the British controlled Singapore, they didn't think the Japanese would attack because they had focused on the Philippines, French Indochina, and China. And there was also a war going on in Europe, of course, with the Germans. Then the Japanese decided to attack from the north of Malaysia. The British thought that they wouldn't manage to make their way through the jungles of Malaysia. At that time it was very dense and thick, but the Japanese called their bluff. In just 7 weeks they made their way through, and eventually the Japanese came, attacked Singapore, and occupied it for 3.5 years. And this fort is just one of the forts the British built on Sentosa Island. Every room has an activation of a recording, which when you enter it plays.
Then take your draft to the hillside to show them the work in hand.
This museum really brings the history alive. It's so well done. I can't emphasize that enough. So it is now a little bit later and I am here on the MRT. I went back to my hotel from Sentosa Island to shower, freshen up, and now I'm heading out into downtown Singapore, and I'm gonna go to my favorite hawker center and show you exactly what it's like. And then afterwards we will soak in some of the skyline and find somewhere to taste my first ever Singapore Sling. So using my Metro card, that journey cost just 1.09 Singapore dollars. So this is the first time in this video that we've had the chance to see the bright lights of Singapore in downtown. Chinatown is just down that way. And it is impressive once you get into the heart of the financial district and see all of the skyscrapers and fancy modern buildings and lights. So here it is, this gorgeous Victorian era covered hawker centre that has a variety of international foods. It's been renovated since, but still retains the history of Singapore. Now it is a little bit later at the moment. It is around 9 p.m. Usually this place would probably be heaving when people finish work at 7-ish. It's still busy now. I love the green pillars and the interior. Right in the heart of the financial district, and we are spoiled for choice. And I'm very hungry. There are some tables where people have just loaded up on food and shared it amongst themselves from different places. Fishball noodles, duck with rice, deli, Indian cuisine, prawn noodles, heritage food. As always when traveling and you're trying to decide where to eat, it's always a good idea to look for where the longest queues are. Usually that's one of the best places. And you can see that there also are many seats outside here too. Arguably more than there are inside. And this is 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. So imagine what it's like at peak time on Fridays and Saturdays. So I have gone for one roasted and steamed chicken rice, which is the national dish of Singapore. This is the roasted, this is the steamed, and here we have a kind of garlic dip, which is usually a good side accompaniment to the national dish. It's a very simple dish with just some soy sauce with the rice. This came to just 7 Singapore dollars in total. And it is so homely and tasty. So I don't know how well you can make me out here. My GoPro isn't so great in the low light. And I have left the hawker center and walked over just a few minutes. And here's the view of Marina Bay Sands, famous hotel there. The financial district is on this side with all the skyscrapers. And I've never seen it from this side. Last time I was in Singapore, I was at Marina Bay Sands looking this way. So interesting to see a different perspective this time. You can't visit Singapore without coming to the marina area at least once to soak in the light and the view and go for some food, go for a drink, whatever it is. The old customs house just there. Pretty cool. So I've just walked all the way round and now I have a view of the skyline where I was just standing moments before looking towards Marina Bay Sands. It's now above me. I'm gonna head on the MRT and hopefully reach a bar in time before it closes. It's the place where they invented the Singapore Sling. Hopefully I can get there and try it. That was kind of on my bucket list as a place I wanted to visit this time, but time is running tight, so I will try to make it. Incredible view, Singapore never disappoints. So I made it in the nick of time to the Ruffles bar, and I'm trying the Singapore Sling for the first time. This is where it was invented, and I hope it's not too dark and that you can see me all right. So it is very good. It's sweet. It goes down easily. It's 37 Singapore dollars for one, and let me tell you what's in it. Widge's London Dry Gin, Benedictine Luxardo, Cherry Sangay Morocco, Ferran Dry Curacao, Ruffles Signature Grenadine, pineapple juice, lime juice, and Angostura bitters. The reason the cocktail was invented is because at the time it was taboo for ladies to drink in public, and so Nguyen came up with the idea to disguise the alcohol, the gin, in something that looked like a fruit punch, which is why it has that colourful look to it. Hello, good afternoon from Singapore Changi Airport. I am leaving, and God, I love this airport so much. It is luxurious in every sense of the word. Organised. Checking in, whether it's taking a train to another terminal, the eating options, going through security's a breeze. Yeah, I could go on. The next series of videos on the channel are going to be from Taiwan, and I went there last year, end of October, early November time, and I covered the Mid-Autumn Festival and also met some of the indigenous people living on the eastern coast of Taiwan, plus a couple other videos from the series that I filmed there. I'm putting them all out now, as I wasn't able to upload them at the time due to the obligations of working with the Ministry of Culture there. So they're going to be out next on the channel, so get ready for the Taiwan videos. They are from last year, as I said. And then following that will be from the country that I'm visiting next. I wonder if you can guess where it is. I won't say anymore. Anyway, enjoy the Taiwan videos. I hope this was interesting. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. And I'll see you on the next video from last year. Peace.